Okay. Stream should be live now. Well, hello and welcome to stream number 3 of Advent of Bevy. So today we're going to be doing at least day 6 and 7, and then we'll see how far we can make it after that. In terms of if I have time and / energy. It didn't work today, so I should hopefully have much more energy than normally do. Because the Christmas holidays and work went like, hey, there's nothing to do, so you can go home a day early. So we didn't do today when we were going to, hence the stream is starting so late in the day. He's already had it scheduled for, I was planning to do it after work. Anyway, so apparently on day 6 we get travelled back to 1518, and we have to explore the site, but there's a single guard, and our entry is basically a map representing dots and hashes. So dots are open space, hashes are obstacles, and the arrow is the security guard. The security guard will move forward 1 square each cycle, unless there's a solid object in front of them, at which point they'll turn 90 degrees clockwise, I believe it says. Yeah, turn right 90 degrees, and then keep stepping forward. So the idea is we're going to pass this map, generate a map in Bevy, and then be able to watch the path that a little person walks as they to travel around the map. I think this is going to be good fun because it's probably going to take longer to solve than it really needs to, because it's a pretty straightforward puzzle to solve. But I'm going to try and build data visualizers, which means that I'm going to have to build like animators and all sorts of things to like make it a little cool, like basically a 0-player game where we watch as the guard walks through our map that we automatically generate. So the result that we're looking for is the number of unique tiles that they visit, which is just going to be, I'm going to hash set and store the coordinates of each tile so that when I add multiple, it's really simple, straightforward. So it's not like it's that's going to be any struggle. Already got the data loaded up. Already got the day made. I don't think I've added it to main though. Day 6 plugin, and we'll add day 7 just because I've got it set up. Oops, 7. Okay, like so. Alright, so let's jump into day 6, and I've still got stuff in my default template that's duplicated from somewhere. So do this, and there we go here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is set up our map. So what we're going to need is, when to set up map run on enter. Okay, that should be fine. I'm fairly sure the way I've got this set up is that the data should already be loaded on enter day. Okay, so we need our puzzle input. I'm wondering if when we set up the map, should we save it? I don't know, because I don't know what the second puzzle is going to be. So what we'll do is we'll go for line in data.0 lines, and then we go for char in data in line.chars. Really straightforward. We need to enumerate, so I think you become line, and then this is our y, and then char, and this is our x. And we enumerate. Okay, it's the other way around. Dot enumerate. Oops, dot enumerate. Why won't you let me enumerate you? Probably because it's coming up with image issues. Right, it's your y and your line, and then your x. And char, like so. Okay. We're going to need to load a whole bunch of assets as well, which is going to be fun. So I went and found on itch this like asset pack. It's not the best asset pack. It's very like generic, but for what we're doing, it'll work. So we need to load renum. So I think for each cell, so we basically need to go commands.spawn. We should also have a map struct. which is just going to be just probably a hash map that contains an I32 by an I2 and maps it to a boolean, like so. So then we're going to need mutable access to this. So map, just because I don't think I need to pass the data twice, possibly, but res mute map. So we'll pass the data when we enter. It depends on what the second day is gonna, or the part 2 of the day is going to require, to whether we actually need to keep this, like, repass the map a second time. So we call setup map. So we need to also map. Okay, you also need default because it initializes you. Okay, so we need to say that solid equals char equals hash. Okay, so basically we'll just work out if it's solid or not. Then we say spawn this. So we need a transform from translation. I don't know what size it's going to be, so we need to go like vec3. Also, do we have a 2D camera? That's the other question. Set camera. Okay, we've only got a 2D camera apparently, so it's good. It's good. So we spawn this. We say new, and then we say your x is x as f32, y as f32. Now the question is, we need to know how many lines. So I guess we should go here and say let h equals data.0.lines.count, and then let w equals data.0.lines next.unwrap.chars.count. Just because I can't be bothered working it out myself. It's 130 lines, but it's, I don't know how many characters per line, so we'll do that dynamically so that if for some reason the data is a different size. So we need to say width okay, we need it to be an I30 I size. So then when we do this, we say okay, so let x equal w divided by 2 plus x as I size, and then our y is going to be the same, except y is h divided by 2 plus, well, it's negative. And I think you're positive because we're on the top. Okay. So that should put our x and the y in the right spot, and then we just convert them to f32s, which is probably going to be scaled, but we'll work that out later. And then the z is going to be 0. So that's that. And then that's a transform. We go here and we say this, and we say cannot find image handling. That's probably an error from when I've last saved. Then we need a sprite, like so, and the sprite is going to be, we should probably load up the texture atlas. Atlas, god. This equals texture atlas builder layout from grid. Tile sizes, I have no idea. 1, 2, 3. I think it must be 16. Let's see if I've got the each still open. Does it state what size each grid is? This is not the right one. It was, this one, Robot Lab. It does not state what size they are. We'll open it in GIMP and see if we can work it out. File, open. Projects, Advent of Bevy, Asset, Robot Lab, Law. 16. Okay. So we go back to here and we say, okay, tile size is vec3. Wait, vec3, vec2, uvec2 splat 16. One column, 2 rows. Padding of none, and an offset of none. Okay, and so then down here we go sprite. So your image is asset server.load. Robot dash lab underscore v 1.0 slash floor.png. Texture atlas is some texture atlas. Great, we need to say asset server.add. There we go. So then we say layout is assets.clone, and our index is 1. And then default from there, I think. What is your problem? So first off, this needs to go like so, and then apparently it was spelled commands wrong, which is weird. Okay, sprite. Oh, we need a comma here. That's what I'm saying about. Right, so we need to spawn the floor and then we need to add it to the map at some point, which is probably here is as good a time as any. So we need to go here and we say like map.0.insert. I call it map, didn't I? Yeah. Map.0.insert, and then we need to go x comma y. And then solid, like so. I can see some eye sizes then. Okay. What? Oh, because it's called cells, because I made it a thing, not a tuple. Okay. So we insert that into there, and then we say if we need to say let cell equal. Okay, and then if solid, you need to be mutable. We need some RNG. Have I got an RNG thing in here? I don't think so. TOML. Don't think I'm using an RNG yet. No. Okay, so rand equals any rand will do. Go back to day 6, and we need to say RNG equals rand. I think that's how you do that. We should probably name this properly as floor atlas. Maybe we should also be an enum object. Okay, because some of these objects are going to have like weird things. So there's a table. Table is just going to be solid. So make a table. So I think we also need to go like derive strum macros enum header, and then go here and say map dot, I don't know, commands dot spawn an object is going to be a component. It's also going to require transform and sprite. Okay, so we have our table, and then we're just going to spawn let object equal object iter dot select dot collect. I don't know how to do this. There's got to be a better way of doing this. So collect it into a vector dot. Okay, so maybe if we use rand sequence slice choose iter slice random iterator random. Choose like so. So we do that to choose a random object, and then there should always be at least one, so we can just unwrap. Okay, and then we just spawn object like that. It's a fucking reference to an object, so dereference you, and then we say you're also clone copy. Like so. All right. Right, cells dot spawn with child. There. All right. So this can go away because we're not using that. Or that. All right. So next, we probably need to do something to set up solid objects, but we should check to make sure our floor is spawning first. So if we run our code, and see what it makes. Because we need to work on an animator, so we probably start working on that while we wait for this to compile. Oh wait, no, it's this that we wanted to go. Like that. We don't need to collect it or vector anymore. So set up object. Okay, so we need objects, which is going to be a query for sprite and object, and then what do we know? We want added object. Okay. Then we're gonna need a different resource, I guess. Okay, so I didn't like that. Weird. Okay, so let's get that running again while this is... Nope, it's not liking that. Can you run now? Okay, cool. So we need a resource. So this is going to be a resource struct. This is going to be our animation. Okay, so this is going to need a probably a different struct. An object animation which is going to have a index, which is not usize, and end, which is also usize. Maybe a length would be smarter, but anyway. Then we also need an atlas, which is going to be a handle to a texture atlas layout, like so. Okay, and then you need a hash animations, which is a hash map of object to object animation. So then we go down here and we say, hey, you need to be equal, par-equal, and also hash, so I can use you like that. Right, so then we need to import from world for object animations. Let's say that. There we go. Okay. So let newt animation equals a hash map default. So, and then finally return an object animation. Like so. Then for object in editor, like so, then we say animation animations dot insert object, and also animation, and then we need to say that's object animation, like so, and then we say start index is index, and index is object that's start index plus object length, and then texture atlas is we need the asset server, so server equals world dot resource asset server. Okay, I don't know if I want to give everyone its own atlas. I guess I have to at this point. So we need to say your atlas is object dot gen atlas, and that takes in the asset server. So right, so then we need to make all these things. So we need to go down here, we need to import object. Let's open our game and see, did it load properly? Not really. Why not? Did I not have this set correctly? Did we throw an error? No. No error. Why did day 6 not work then? Have I just set something wrong? Day 6. Oh, I probably didn't add them to the list, which was a set future. Okay, yeah. Alright, so you would be 0, 1, 1, 1. Day 6 and day 7. Should make this an actual iterating loop properly, setting everything. Anyway, run. It's probably going to crash because I've not got this compiling properly. Yeah. Okay, import object. So then we need fn start. Oh, okay. It did compile. Weird. It panicked at what? Unwrap on none. So it obviously hasn't loaded the day by that point. Damn it. Alright, when do I run the load object code? On exit main. Day data. Right, so it's day data that needs to be load data. When am I running load data? When am I calling you? There, okay. So I think this is all not necessary anymore. I'm kind of curious if I can remove this. And then we just say, okay, apparently we've got a whole bunch of transitions because we don't need to reload the data because each day is the same data. So it's more like app.add system on exit. Oh no, wait, yeah, no. Of advent state main. So here's the problem: is we need to load data. So it's more like for advent in advent state data app dot add on enter advent state on enter state load data, and then load data requires. Okay, so if I go down here and tweak load data, can we say don't do this? You take in a state, which is an advent state. Like so, you call this, you just pass in state, please. Like so. So, like that. And that should, in theory, we need to skip main and future because that would break things, I think. Or maybe not, because it's just going to say it can't, no data found. Yeah, it's just, okay. So if state equals advent state main, or state equals advent state future. So skip main and skip future. That should work. To load the data at the right time to be able to use it. It might break everything, who knows? Find out. So can we just ignore this, do that? Okay. Start index takes in yourself. and return the size. Just call to do on that. Index to the same and returns a size. Wait, it's not. It's len, wasn't it? Okay, and then finally, then texture outlet. Which takes in server. Except the asset server is a reference to an asset server because we're loading the resource. Then you return a handle to a texture atlas layout like so, and then this is also to be. Okay. I just need to make sure that it actually compiles and renders the grid because it'd be really annoying if I have to go fix that. Okay. So you panic at none because again, it didn't load the data in time. When are you called? Right. After main. Ooh, no, not main. After create. I don't think I can do this. Oh, actually, no. What we can do is we can say on exit. Oh, no, because it needs to be on enter. Maybe on transition. On transition. Exit main. Add state main and then on enter state. Because I think on transition happens before on exit. Yeah, after exit, before enter. So this should mean that the data actually has time to load now. Hey, okay. So they're really small. But they're also somewhat incorrect. Now, oh god, why is it also so laggy? You're not just continuously spawning more and more of them, are you? That looks like it's continuously spawning more and more of them. Is it getting longer? I can't tell. It doesn't seem to be getting longer. It just spawned a lot of them. $17,000. Yeah, 17,000 seems about right. There's about 16,000 of them. Plus some of them are getting duplicates because there's two of them. Why is it so laggy then? Oh, it's probably this rendering. Alright, so we probably need to fucking child them all somewhere. So our editor doesn't die. So day 6. So we just say leave the orange. Commands.spawn transform identity and spatial bundle. No, not spatial bundle. Visibility. That's what I'm creating. Visible, and then dot with children commands like so, and then take this all the way down here. Close you, open you, like so, and then don't return type. Okay, so that should spawn them all under something, which should make it way less laggy. Anyway, most of them I think are overlapping each other, so I think the easiest thing is probably going to be saying times 16 times 16, because that's the offset, like they're 16 tiles, which means that I think 1 pixel is 1 unit in 2D space, which means that spacing them out by 16 should make them, well, they're just singular white dots. Like something, like they're rendering something. It's just not exactly an obvious floor tile. Maybe we should find a better tile set. I don't know what that single white dot is, because I'm loading floor. There's no singular white dot for it to be rendering, so I don't know what this little white dot is. Oh, it's probably the single pixel that's rendering on top. So we should probably texture atlas nearest. That might also help. So go back to main, work out where we are loading this, and we're saying dot set image plugin default nearest. So it's probably anti-aliasing that's causing our problem there. It's just anti-aliasing it away so we can't see the grid. And the white dots are everywhere something solid is. And I'm also surprised it's not crashing. Okay, so it's rendering something. It's just all got lines. Why are you not rendering properly? Okay, it's really slow to open this. The hell does your sprite look like? It's rendering the correct image, it's just not. Where the hell is this? Hello, can I grab you and say, hey, can I make your color like something else, like red, so I know which one's you? And then I'm going to set your position to negative 1,500. Negative 1,500. I can't see it. It's gone. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean it's outside of the range. 130 divided by 2 times 16. Yep, no, it'd be, that's one of the corner pieces, so it should be visible. I don't know why it's not. It's really laggy. Get rid of that, please. God, for the love of God. Okay. So it's somewhere. I think it's over here somewhere. Alright. Get you back and let's put you at back in the corner so I can find you easily. So what was it? It was negative 1,000 something. Get my calculator back up. Calculator. 130 divided by 2 times by 16 equals 101. Please put it at position 1,040 and position negative 1,040. We put it right there. It hasn't. Why are you not? It's definitely rendering the right image. Z of 1. Okay, if we close this, the game should run fast again, so I can. We're gonna go. Is it in one of the other corners? I can't tell. Apparently not. Okay. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me why. Can't see. What? The tiles look really dumb. Okay, if I turn them red, that might be why, is that it is just not actually rendering any differently. Not exactly tracking in my head why it's not rendering. Okay, so all being red is just not changing anything. Now, they're all seem to be overlapping each other. So that's what the problem is they're overlapping. But I'm moving them 16, right? And the tile is 16 wide, so... Why are you overlapping? That's not the right day. Day 6. So x times 16. Maybe I need to turn you into a... Well, that would be up here. Why not just say as F32? So we can get... My thought is that possibly it's ending up rounding to like, and it's always out by half a pixel. So then it's dot and dot. Okay, and then F32. Okay, then we don't need to do that. I do need it to be here. Okay. As I size. Shouldn't really matter what they get put in the map as long as it's not duplicates. And truncating should always result in it not getting duplicates, I think. Can't think why it would. Because we're always moving around by whole increments. Okay, they're still definitely too close together. That's got to be what's going on. So what if I increase the spacing between them by a little bit more? Basics. If I increase the spacing to 17, you'd probably just use a better fucking floor tile, but committed to this now. I don't get it, because it's definitely 16 wide. So, like, unless something's going wrong because I'm using a texture atlas, which I can't imagine it would. Yeah, so you can see the clipping. Like, they're rendering, but, like, it's not actually rendering it. They're rendering, like, on top of each other. What if it's not 16? Maybe it's 32? I wouldn't think you'd see those clipping lines if it was, though, because that doesn't make sense. Why are you not rendering properly? Because when I go into you and I say, hey, like, what are you actually rendering? You are rendering the correct thing. At least according to this, you're rendering the correct thing. That's what you're supposed to be rendering. And the fact that you're rendering anything at all is a bit throwing my head in. Can I say custom size sum vec2 splat 16, please? No, but they're definitely going to be spaced out. Like, they're giving them an offset of 32, but a size of 16. Why are they not rendering properly? unless something's overriding their index, but that wouldn't work because again, this is saying that they're actually rendering the right thing. Like if I go in here and change their index to 0. Oh no, that's the image. Am I fucking it up somehow? Is it that I've made this the wrong way around? Are you 2 columns and 1 row? Could be. And therefore it's that little red line is actually just a rounding error when it's trying to grab the tile. That's what. Okay. I just don't know the difference between rows and columns, apparently. So we can go, hey, please space them by 16 again. Well, actually, to fit them all on screen, we might want to space them by 8. And then say that you're a size of 8. And then, what was I doing? Yeah, okay, that should work now. Right, and then we seem to say let, I guess it's player. Let's go into the data and go like, hey, have they done cheeky and like made it so that the is it you? Okay, so the guard is facing up, and I suspect the guard is always facing up. I was wondering if they were going to be cheeky with it and make the guard be able to face in any direction. So equals char equals that. Then you're the guard. That's not a char. No, it's a char. There you go. Okay. Anyway, we're not doing anything with the guard at the moment. So if guard, and then we're going to say commands dot spawn. Ooh, actually, we need to go here and we need to say, hey, this is let's call it pay so that we can actually get to the top. We go commands dot spawn, and then we need to just be like component derive component struct guard. Okay, so can we actually make this an enum? And we're going to say your guard, and then you're going to have variance north, south, east, and west. Okay, cool. And then we get here, we're going to say guard north. So just spawn a guard north, like so. Then you need other things, right? No? Yeah, you do. You require. You require a transform, a sprite, a transform, a sprite. What else do you need? A visibility. Actually, no, sprite would add those, wouldn't it? So we actually just need a sprite on you, because if you've got a sprite, you have to have transform and visibility anyway. It's the same thing down here when we say animations. You just require a sprite. Okay. So yeah, so our objects are working now. So now we can go back to here and we can say, hey, load up our object asset data, which is doing that. So we can do that, and we insert this, and then we need a gen atlas. So generating our atlas. So okay, start length. So match self. Okay. So we're missing up. Table. Table is going to return 0, and match self. Table is going to have a length of, I guess technically 1, because it is a single sprite. Wait, no, it has a length of 0. because it's the number of animation frames we want to go before we reset, which is 0 because we don't actually want to change it. So then next is to go to texture atlas and say match self, and then we're going to fn texture. Brain, stop cooking yourself. Self, and this is going to return a reference to a static stir, like so. Okay, so we match our self, and then we say, well, first off, asset server dot add, like so, and then for each of the match self, no, you're returning that tab, and then it's object table. Object table do this, and that's going to be a texture atlas layout from grid. Tile size is flat 16. 1 1 none. All right, so that should be our texture atlas for the table done. Wait. That's correct, because then we are here and we say, hey, you add the object animation, and then somewhere here we have the actual object itself. So you'll call jet atlas, and you're gonna do that. Cool. Self, thank you. You need to reference self. Okay, and then match self, and then here we're gonna say match self, and do this, and say the table returns. I'm gonna say table.png maybe. No, I will make it return the whole thing. Robot dash lab underscore v 1.0 / table.png. Okay, so this lets us now dynamically load the tables. No, okay. Apparently we call it Jan Atlas, but it's actually texture atlas. Okay, so then next we need to go. We insert these objects, so that means we load up the animations properly. Okay, cool. So then next we come here and we say, okay, so for object in mute object, except it's not objects. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna say here, mute sprite. Okay. So we're gonna say sprite dot texture atlas if let sum equals. Okay. First off, you also need to be a reference, I think. No. We have a reference to this? No, that's, how do I fucking, there we go. So we get immutable access, we say atlas dot layout equals, and so we need the object, so animations is res object animation, and then we say the animation equal animations dot get, and we pass an object, and then we say dot unwrap, because everything should have a animation. Then we say layout is equal to animation dot atlas dot clone. Okay, and then your atlas dot index equals animation dot starting index. Then we say else, and then sprite dot texture atlas is equal to sum texture atlas animation dot atlas dot clone, and index is animation dot start index. Okay, so we need to add startup object as something that we do every frame. So add system up. Okay, apparently up's a thing that just exists. Can we get rid of all this stuff that's not necessary? Okay, setup object. Please go away. Alright, so this should give us wait, what? Can't borrow commands mutably well. Okay. Can we say something stupid like let g guard equal commands dot spawn guard north, like so, and then dot id, and then actually no, we don't even need to do that. Wait, we do. So we have our guard, but we need to somehow set its location based on this. So does this let us do things with commands? I don't think so. Can I say something like p dot? Can I get the access to the underlying commands? What does calling spawn do? Because can I... self.spawn empty, self.spawn empty. Oh god, this is... okay, yeah, no, I think that's too complicated. I was going to see if I could send a spawned command as like an actual own thing, but no. So what we would need to do is say something like let guard equal 0, 0, and then from there we need to say we need to make it mutable, and then I guess we just say if, and then guard equals x, y, like so, and then we can spawn the guard down here. We just say like commands let you it's commands dot spawn bundle guard north transform from translation vec3 new. The guard needs to be at guard dot x as f32 as f32 times by 16, and then guard 0 dot x guard 0 guard dot 1 as f32 times by 16, and then the z is I guess 2, so if you walk over something we can still see you. 2. Spawn the guard. Spawn the north guard. Okay. So that should spawn everything correctly now, I hope. I'm not entirely sure. Kind of feel like I want to give the guard like in direction, like so, and then do this and say struct, and then say direction facing direct, oops, wrong key, direction, and then position is just going to be ivec2, and then from there we're going to say This is an IVEC to. So then we want to spawn a guard. Guard is going to be facing direction north. Position is going to be IVEC. This is going to be guard, like so. We're going to change this to X and Y. X and Y, and we're just going to update it. So instead of setting it like we're just doing with a tuple, how the fuck do that? It's going to be IVEC to new. Ooh, that's right, because that's your position is technically this is how we set your X and Y, so maybe we should map. Okay, so we need to say width, which is an I, so that is our U size, and height, which is a U size. F32, because we don't need to convert back and forth. We're never going to use them as U sizes after this. So here we need to say map dot width equals W and map dot height equals H, like so, just so I can use it. Default, please. Default. So then here we say this, and we say using the X and the Y as I32, as I32. So that should put the guard at the correct location. Spawn out guard. Okay, so we have guard that's facing, and we say set up object, and we spawn that in. All right. I love how this is all being done, and we're not actually solving the puzzle. We're literally just trying to visualize it. This is how a lot of these streams have gone. Spending like for like an hour, and I'm just getting it to render. And pass the data into a state that's good. That's good. This is red. Now, apparently we're not updating the sprite correctly, because these little white dots should now be barrels. So, well, not barrels, tables. So first off, stop coloring it red wherever we're doing that. So why did setup object not work? Setup object did not run because it requires perimeter object animations. Okay, so init resource. Object animation, like so. Somewhere down here, we're setting its color to sRGB red, which is incorrect. We don't do that. Now we try again. Now you should render a bunch of tables. We need to I think I'm also going to need, just for the sake of making things nice and animatable, yeah, nothing ever uses end index. Yeah, cool. So go in here and we go, okay. So first off, apparently you're rendering a bunch of white squares, which is very much incorrect. Kind of looks cool. Why are you spelling out words? This doesn't seem correct. Why have you done this? What is your problem? Alright, so all our tiles are in the right place. I don't know what's going on with this. So we need to go into one of these, and we need to go like you, and then we need to go here and go, hey, what do you actually look like? Can I close this so that it doesn't drag? I don't think so, because I think Alright, see, I have to open that one, which is so annoying. Sprite. Oh god, why is your sprite just a white square? My suspicion is that it didn't. Oh wait, we're never setting the fucking sprite's image. That's what's wrong. So we say, yeah, texture is never called. So when we set up object, we need to say that sprite dot image equals asset server, which we don't have here yet. Then we say yeah, hello asset server dot load and then it's object dot texture. Okay, so now we should load little tables on everything. I think input guard. Just close that, and it will stop complaining. Run that and go. Okay, so now we should have little tables everywhere, and that should be good to go. I'm just responding to someone on Discord, and it's really hard to fucking type and work at the same time. Okay, cool. Okay, so what was I doing? What was I doing? Okay, so did I spell that wrong? Oh, God. Okay, now it should compile. All right. So we go here, and we go, okay. Now, you're spawning like really fucked up looking tables, because apparently the table is more than 16 by 16, which is okay. Wait, but how am I ending up with parts of tables being rendered? Because you're probably on the wrong layer. That okay, bet you that's what's going on. So, first things first, setting up objects. When we spawn the object, we're also going to need access to your transform. Wait, no, do you have a layer? Is that a thing I can do? This is where the editor is really useful. If I go into you and I say, hey, like, do you have visibility, view visibility to render? I think, if I remember, is it something like z-index, global z-index? Is there a local z-index? Yeah, z-index. So I don't think they have a z-index at the moment. Okay. And then I'm pretty sure the z-index... Okay, that node entities are node entities, okay. Okay, never mind. We'll just fuck around with it and be like transform. We need to be like your transform, and then your okay, so we need it's supposed to be mutable. The transform, and then we say transform dot translation dot z equals 1. Right, so that should move them up a layer. The other thing is they need to specify that the sprite dot custom size is equal to some vec to splat 8. Oh, that's why they're pretty big. It's not because I set the tiles to being 8, which means that the tables are actually 2 tiles by 2 tiles instead of being 1 by 1. Hey, lots of little tiny tables. Oh, so apparently it's still outside of the screen. Anyway. So, what we're going to need to do is, cute little tables. I do love them. It's just stuff. We either need to make them smaller or make the camera more zoomed out. I think we'll maybe make the camera follow the guard. So what we'll do is we'll say something like, we'll add a system called like reset camera And this is just going to take in camera, which is going to be a query for transforms, well, mutable transforms, please. Transforms with camera, like so, and then we just say for in mute camera. This is like a really lazy way of doing this, so we just say pos dot translation equals vec3. Is it 0? I don't remember if it's 0. Where do we spawn the camera, please? We just spawn at default, which should just be 0. So that should be right. And then we go up here and we say add system on exit. Add system on exit day. Call reset camera. The main reason being that the camera is going to follow the player, which means it's capital D day. Okay. The camera will follow the player, and then when we leave the day, we don't want the camera to not have a player to follow anymore, and therefore be not lined up with the advent calendar. So now, basically, when you exit, it'll reset the camera to 0, 0. Okay, so we set up our map, we spawn our guard, we spawn our table. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's all that done. Next is to, first off, add an extra few little obstacles. So, don't think we're gonna, okay, radioactive barrel next. Okay, so we're gonna rename you, copy that. Okay, so the radioactive barrel, which has 2 sets of, 6, we go, okay, so, go down to objects and we say, barrel and barrel fill. Right. So next we go, okay, so your index start of object barrel is starts at 0, and object barrel spill I think starts at 4. Can I just get the texture first? So we're gonna go like this, we're gonna say barrel paste, like so, copy that down, and then barrel spill. Okay, then we go back to barrel and we go radio power. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 is the start of the spilled barrel. We go here. We go. I think 60 FPS is going to be way too fast. We'll probably do them at 10 FPS, would be my guess. Anyway, so we need to do this. We need to say barrel, and I guess technically we can say barrel like that, or object barrel spill, because they're the same, which probably means we should probably do the same thing here and say put you here, like so, pop that. Okay, so barrel and barrel spill, and then you start at 4, and you have a barrel or object barrel spill, both have a length of 4. Okay, cool. So that should let us spawn radioactive barrels and non-radioactive barrels, and then when we go run, and we go here, and we go, okay, so we should have little, okay, apparently that doesn't, so it's working for the normal barrels, but not for the spilled barrels. I don't know what I fucked up with the spilled barrels, but the normal barrels are working. Also, way too zoomed out, so maybe we should make them back to 16 again. So, make this 16 again, please. You're right, custom size is 16. And then down here we do something about this being 16. Okay, so that should make them look a little bit bigger. So why is the spilled barrel not correct? Doesn't make sense, because technically they're identical. Like at no point. Right? Like, I don't get that one. There's nothing special about the second object that uses the same sprite. Why? Why are you broken? And annoyingly, we're going to have to find the spilled barrel to work out why they're broken. It should be maybe the second object, I reckon. That one. No, we don't think that one. Okay. So, yep, that's correct. Index is 4. So if we set your index to 3, do you work all of a sudden? No. Question is, are we actually modifying the right one? I don't know what the difference is. So if I set your index to 4, you break. If I set your index to 1, you don't get fixed. Okay, that probably tells me that I've messed up the width or something. Oh wait, did I just tell it had 1? Probably. It's probably breaking because I don't think I said there was 4 of them. So somewhere down here we say, yeah, there's 4 rows, 8 rows, please. So it's like anything outside of the first one, because the first one obviously finds as being 16 by 16. Anything outside of that breaks. And then once it's broken, it doesn't work again. Yep. I think I've got that backwards because these distinctly do not look correct. So it is instead 8 columns. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we have that one and that one. They're all working properly now. So we have like, a bunch of extra little things. We need to probably make them even bigger again. Just because we kind of want it to be like a nice sized grid, you know, like big enough that when we're following it around, like it's not tiny little objects. So maybe we'll go to 32. We'll double it again. Which annoyingly means I need to also make you 32. The guard doesn't really matter, but because its position should be updated later. 32 and 32. Okay, so that should make the tiles nice and big. So what's next is to add an animation system. So we're going to go down here. We're going to go FN animate. Okay, so to animate, we need the animations. So the objects, which is going to require a query for the object, its mutable access to its sprite. We need time, which is res time. Something like since last, which is a local F32. Okay, so I need the sprite. I think I only need the sprite because I don't think any of them are going to change what sprite sheet they're using. So next we say since last time plus equals time dot delta seconds times 10, which basically translates to 10 FPS. There you go. So basically every 10 seconds, and if since last is greater than 1, okay, since last is less than 1, return, and then since last minus equals 1. Okay, then we say for object mute sprite in object. It should be called, it needs to be mutable and it should be called objects. Thank you. Naming conventions. Okay, so sprite object. Iterate through. Then we say set animation equal animation dot animations dot get object, and again we just expect all have animation. Okay, so we get our animation, and then we say so first thing, sprite dot okay, if let some ref mute sprite atlas equals sprite dot texture atlas else one sprite has no texture atlas. Okay, so this should be fine. We also need to remember to go back up here and state scope everything. We need to go you and say it's not you, it's when I spawn the map I need to state scope fucking everything. So you are state scoped to day, and you are also state scoped to day, like so. All right. So animate. Okay, so we go through animation. We say, okay, get the access to the texture atlas, otherwise warn us that the texture atlas isn't present. So then we say animation. So it's atlas.index plus equals 1. If animation, if atlas.index is greater than I guess greater than or equal to, because I think it's like 4 and we're adding 4, so 8. When it gets to 8, we need to subtract 4 to go back to 4. Okay, yes, yeah, so it's greater than or equal to animation dot end index atlas dot index minus equals animation dot object dot length. The little breaking convention there because we're calling the object's length, which is not actually correct because it should be animation's length. Anyway, I think they should work. So it seems straightforward enough to work. So update. So we need to set up object. We also need to run. Animate. So animate runs in update, and it's running 10 times a second because every time the creator gets to credit the one. Also means if we have a big frame lag, it'll actually like run 2 frames in a row. Well, like as many frames in a row as it needs to catch up, but still run every frame. Like it's hey, okay, so first off, 10 FPS feels a little quick apparently. So maybe times by 5. Just kind of want them to pulse a little bit. I don't want them flicking. So what else do we have? We have that robot. Apparently we've got spare parts, so we could just have like little robot heads lying around. That'd be kind of cool. There's little monitors. That would be an interesting thing to have on the ground. So that's the floor, little drone. Oh, there's a little computer. So we need a little computer running. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. So next is to get the, I guess we'll add the computer. So we go back into here and we're just going to go. Final object we have is a computer. Computer. Computer, not computer. Okay. So you start at 0. And you have a length. Computer, and it has a length of 1. Okay. Wait, does it have a length of 1? Or does it have a length of 2? I'm not entirely sure. Guess we'll find out. Object computer. Do the same thing. Up, comma. Paste that, and then instead you're just 2. Thank you. Okay. So then we go to computer, and then you're the same thing. We can say object computer. And then it's I guess let's just do this. Do this. Alright, and then computer. Okay, so that should hopefully have a nice little blinky blink, and then we need to animate the player, which is going to be slightly more annoying because I also feel like I need to set their index sort of randomly because they're all in sequence right now, which is fine, but I feel like what I could do is when I set up the object and we set the starting index, plus thread random. I think if I then modulo, I guess no, we can just say dot gen range between 0 and animation dot no, object dot len object dot len. Yeah, that is definitely a terrible way to do it. Okay, C start index at that. Okay, so that should mean that everything's going to be ever so slightly offset, because we're adding a random number, so they won't all be pulsing in sequence. It'll be like sort of randomly different things would blink at different. It'd be kind of interesting if you did different speeds of the different blinks and stuff, but it's additional animation stuff that I don't really need. So we're spawning the guard here, so we should probably go with your sprite. Right, let's set your sprite up. We say your texture atlas is sum. And then we need a texture atlas, and your index is 0. And wait, is it 0? I think it's actually not. So we're going to be using bold dude. scientist. You have 4 down frames. What was the other one? Neomai. I don't know why this one's got like so many more animation frames than all the others. So we're just gonna go with. I think we'll go with this one. So your starting animation is going to be facing north. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your starting index is 6. It shouldn't really matter because it should be able to pick it. We go back here and they say, hey, starting index is 6. Starting index of 6, and your layout is going to be asset server dot add picture layout from grid. So uvec to splat. 16 columns is who knows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 by 1 with none and none. Image is asset server.load. Go grab the name. Wherever it is down here, we want this bit. Copy that. Paste up here. Then we want generic vessel. See, come down here, do this. All right, so then we have the player doing that, and then custom size is sum vec to splat 32, and that should have the and then everything else needs to be dot dot. All right, so next is to animate the player because they're technically animated differently. So fn animate guard. Okay. So the guard should never not be moving because, you know. Anyway, so we can guard, which is then a query for the sprite of the guard and also the guard itself. We're gonna also need like the time and the delta time and shit. So it's probably gonna skip weirdly. Basically the same as the animation, but slightly different. 5 FPS is what we decided. You need to be a wrapper. I see why they removed that as a thing. You used to be able to do that as like a with this, is you could just do a wrap, like, but it's like it is actually in fact almost always an error when you do that. Okay. Anyway, so you return unneeded return statement. Yeah. So for guard in the guard, except you need to be mutable, and you need to be mute sprite. Okay, so something like that. And then we do the same thing of so I think we need to implement direction. So impl direction. And then we say fn start. And this takes in self and returns a u size. And this is going to match self. So north is going to start at 6. South starts at 0. East and west both start at wherever the hell the end is. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So they start at 10, and they're both. So okay, so you start at 10. guess technically it's 4. So you start at 10. Okay, and then fn len, which is also self, returning a size, and then match self like so. Okay, so your length is 6, and then these are both 4s, and then this is a 4. Okay, and then it might be it because the sprite doesn't change and the texture atlas doesn't change. So then we go, oh no, we need flip as well, which is just flip, fn flip, which is self returns a boolean and then matches self matches direction. I think it's west. No, it's east, isn't it? Because I think that the actual sprite is facing west, which means we need to flip it if it's moving east. Okay, I think that's how you do it. Yep, okay. So then we come down here and we just say, hello, animation sprite guard. Okay, so first off, it's just copy the same logic as this, so except do this, and then we say, we say guard. Okay, so we say is greater than guard.direction. What do I have? It's guard dot facing dot len. So it's guard dot facing dot start plus len. Then you subtract guard dot facing dot len. Okay, cool. So oh, that's interesting. If atlas dot index is less than guard dot facing dot start atlas dot index equals guard dot facing dot start. I was thinking like because it's a few animations long, but we're only doing 5 FPS, means that theoretically it could end up going from like moving east to moving south, which would go from 8 to 0, and then if you then went back to moving east, it would take up to 2 seconds for the animation to tick up to that point. So it's like, hey, if the number's too small, just to skip ahead, because basically we're looking if the number's too far and subtracting, so we're basically cycling within that point. But if you somehow end up much lower, it's going to cycle through all the animations until it gets there. So basically, if the animation's too low, skip ahead. So then we go animate our guard. There's not a problem for the other things because like the barrels aren't going to change what they are. It's only an issue because it's possible for the player to go from like a far off animation, from an end animation to a beginning animation, and therefore have to tick through all the animations in between. All right, anyway. I think our guard's in the center. I don't actually know. Oh, it crashed. Why did it crash? Panicked. Sample empty range. Where the hell did you sample an empty range? Yeah, but what? So that's Rand sampled an empty range, which is bizarre. I bet you it's because I changed the length of something to 1 or to 0 or something. can't sample an empty range because it's saying sample from the range of 0 to 1. Yeah, see, they're not synced up anymore. Anyway, where's our guard? Down here. Somewhere, I think. Somewhere. Where the hell are you? Well, we can just check this. It is animating. They're somewhere on this map. Can I change their color to make them really obvious? You're red now? Where the hell is your position? It should be really obvious. They should be red. What the? Wait, why can't I see you? Can I make you bigger? Make them wide? They're over here. Oh, wait. Why are you moving? Okay, first off, set the spec to 32. That does not look right. Which implies that I'm probably doing the animations wrong. You're not doing it, though. So we're subtracting length. So index plus equals 1. If index is lower than start, set the start. If the index is greater than... First off, you're animating way too quickly, for one thing. Okay. What the hell is your problem? Also, I don't think that's the right spot for it, because I'm sure it was near the bottom. It doesn't really matter, because again, I'm counting cells, not like actual location, so should be right. So you are over here somewhere. I'm probably still going to need to set your color to red. Yeah, so first off, you still feel like you're animating way too quickly. It's quite confusing considering... It kind of implies that you're probably blinking between two values rather than actually animating. Oh god. Hey look, we can see what's happening. Why are you ever turning into that direction? One, two, one, two. Okay, so something is greater than or equal to. So start, maybe the start's wrong. You're getting one frame too far. So we got to start and we say, hey, does north actually start at 5? Which would make you start at... I don't think it does. They make you start at 9. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't start at 5. It definitely starts at 6. My suspicion is that something's causing it to reset. It's definitely doing 2 frames of it too, which is even more confusing. Because like if it was just doing a single frame, it's like, okay, it's an animation issue. So it definitely starts at 6. And you definitely start at 10. Now your length for south movement is 4, correct? Definitely 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what the hell am I doing wrong? So if we pop over here and go, hey, we want you, and we're going to go your sprite, which, God, it's really hard to do this when it's already. So you're going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How are you getting to 11? That's 6 frames. North, right? North, unless I've labeled them wrong. North, okay. The south is, which means north is 0. No, that's correct. North is 6. South is, you are actually south and you are north. North is only 4 frames. So I just had one extra. I had the south and the north reversed, so that it was doing 6 frames. Okay, and then we also need to go down here and we say, hey, when we animate you, and we say, hey, so now we go over here and go, hey, where's our guard? Okay, first off, they're running way too fast. Why are you running so goddamn fast? Because we're running 60 FPS. Are we doing that with the other? Yeah, okay, so we just missed that line. Okay, so we can probably turn you back down to 5 FPS, because the idea is that it runs slow for the first tick and then back up to 60 FPS because it's always true. So we set the facing, and we need to say, here we need to say, I guess, yeah, sprite.flip x equals guard.facing.flip. Okay. So we need to go up to facing as well and implement turn, which needs to be self. It needs to. Okay, just say it's a second mute self, doesn't it? Return nothing, mute self, and then you match self. Oop. I got all this, and we're still not even solving the fucking puzzle. North. Okay, so north is so self equals, and then you become direction east, south becomes direction west, east becomes direction south, and west becomes direction north. Okay, so we can call turn, and turn will turn the character. So first things first is we need to kind of lerp the guard somehow. Maybe, I don't know. Fun thing about this is that the actual solving of the thing is just gonna, we're just gonna say, hey, can you just take in map? And we need the guard's position. Which maybe we should just store that in the map. Maybe we should just have start. Which is a IVEC. Like so. And then when we set the guard, which is set somewhere down here, you say, hey, can you also set map dot start equals guard? Okay, so then we have the start, and then that'll just let us solve it. So when we say pass data 1, it's not really passing the data anymore, but I'm kind of like, this is the convention that I've gone with. So we're going to say let run equals true let visited equal a hash set new while run let mute equals data dot start. Okay. We need to be like let mute facing north direction north. Okay, while run, and then we're going to say we kind of go like direction. You need to like have a thing that's like fn step. Right. The question's more about where do we start? I think technically north is stepping down because we were from the top down. So you need to take in self. And you need to return a ivec2 match self. Okay, so north is going to be ivec2 negative y. I think, pretty sure up is negative because we start at 0 and we go 1, 2. So up is negative. So then south would be ivec y. East is positive because again we start at 0 and we step to the right, increases the number. So u are x, and then ivec2 is negative x. Right, so that's our step, and our step will do that. So while run, okay, step equals facing dot step. Okay, if map data dot, every cell should be loaded, so we should be able to say if data dot cells dot get, so next equals else break. I think technically if it's not in the map, it means it's that you've stepped outside the map and we can break. So I think we can just say while true. This is a terrible way of writing this, but while true. And then if you somehow step outside the map, break. So like that. So then we get access to the boolean. So we say step and then facing. So then what we need to do is say current plus step. Okay, then we need to go back up here and we need to say, hey, you don't have sizes, you have ivec2, like that. And then somewhere it's going to be broken because of how we're inserting things. So instead we're going to say you also don't get that as your x and y. Your x and y is that x and y. Yeah. So basically we just need to make sure that when we set the x and y for doing that, we do it after the fact. And then I32. Okay, and then we say ivec2. Okay, so we insert it like that, and then we set the offset for the actual image is different. Okay, cool. We come down here and we say, okay, so data.get. Maybe we should give it an entity as well. Fine. We're going to have a lot of double entry here, but we're going to say solid, because technically that's for solving the puzzle, and then This is going to be for visualizing it later, so we're just going to make them separate things because I feel like it. So we'll visualize them like that, and then so when we iterate through, we say, hey, when you insert this, can you also let ID equal this, right? And then we can go up here and we can say ID ID ID, and then we're inserting not solid, but instead down here somewhere, cell.id. Cool. And this goes into an entity. Okay, so we'll do that. We're gonna go, okay. So down here, we say, first off, apparently we need to do a reference to current plus step. So I guess let next cell equals current plus step. Right, current plus step. Then we need to get next cell. If there is no next cell, break because you've reached the end. If next, so that's next is solid, then we say facing.turn, right? Else current equals next cell, right? And also, I guess technically, do we start on 1, I guess? So technically visited equals current. I think we may have to add 1 to our answer. So not visited, it's visited.insert. Because technically it's not going to find, because we're inserting current. Like so. Because we're inserting current when we're moving to the next cell, as in like when we leave a cell, we add it, we'll be 1 shy at the end. So then we want to say print line copy to add then is visited dot len plus 1. I'm pretty sure it's plus 1 because if we don't move out of the cell, as in if we break early, the other option would be to put visited at the top. It's basically insert current as the first thing you do, then try and step, but that means that it's going to waste a lot of insertions. Oh, right, yeah. We don't need to do while true, we can just say loop. Yeah, that is a very good point. So parsing day 1, and then we do this and we say, hey, okay. So I guess before we go rendering it, let's make sure that this code actually does in fact find the correct answer. And then we're going to write some code that's going to iterate through and basically actually walk the character. All right, so when I click 1, it says that the answer is 4,758. Let's find out if that is correct. It feels very low. But apparently that's the correct answer. Okay, we're not going to look at... We're not going to look at 2 yet. Hide part 2. No looking. We got to make our character walk around now. So next step, I guess, is add the camera to follow the player. So mute camera. Yep, and then guard, which is going to be a query for transform with guard. Right, and then we say for camera in camera. But we should probably go up here and say let guard fuck it. Just kind of wanted to do it. Yeah. I like doing that. That's the old way of doing it. Gotta love doing it this new fancy way. I was gonna do it that like grab the single guard, but I, in theory, may be able to spawn more than one guard at a time, which would be kind of fun. Anyway, like just as a future thing, just a fun muck around with. So we do this. We say camera dot translation dot x equals guard dot translation dot x and camera dot translation dot y equals guard dot translation dot y. So we go here and we say follow camera goes up here and we say yep, not an update. I guess one here we go run if in state day. There you go. Now these will only run when we're actually in the day, which means that the camera won't try and follow something that doesn't exist. That'd be another reason to not do single, is if I did forget to do that, it would crash when not in this specific day, because it's going to try and follow the guard. So it crashed anyway, apparently. What do you mean? Panic query, but what panicked? Ah, yes. That's why. It panicked because I am currently grabbing a mutable access to a transform with guard and without camera. Like so. With guard, without camera. Okay, so then we go here. We go, hello. Hey, look, we're looking at the guard. I was going like, why do nothing looks different? But no, we're directly over the guard. He's just not moving. I also feel like you're in the wrong spot. Like, you have to be in the wrong spot, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to walk straight up here and off the map. And that is clearly not what happened. So I think you're just probably facing the wrong direction, because, again, north... The irony. North is negative-wise. Technically, you're actually facing south, because north is this way on this particular map. So what you need to do is just say... flip these two and say that you're actually... you're 0, you're 6, you're north, and you're south. That should fix it. It just means like it makes no difference to the code except the direction that the character is facing is backwards. So we just flip them over. Now they're going to be walking down instead of up. Yep. See, and then this way they won't walk straight off the edge of the map. They might. They walk a long way. Hello. I'll get you a little head bob. Okay. So what do we want it to do? I don't think we want it to take 400 seconds to complete, so it's obviously going to be moving more than 1 per second. So we need a system that moves the guard. Okay, so down here we're going to say fn move guard. Okay, so you're going to need access to the map, which is a query. No, not a query, resource map. We are going to need all the cells so that I can change the color. Query a sprite with object. No. We just want access to the sprite, but it needs to be mutable. We need access to the guard, which is going to be a query for mute guard. Right, so basically we just implement this, but like on a slower scale. So we need a resource like resource fn that's a struct steps per sec, which is going to be F32. Right, so I'm going to say we need to take a step out of the animations guide and make it only run time and since last. So it's only going to run every so often. Right, and then this. And then I think we paste this here, but instead of timesing it by 5, it's steps per frame. So we need to say struct, steps. Is a res steps per frame. Steps per frame. Right. And so instead of that, we're going to say times by steps dot 0. So that's a steps per frame, and then we do this, and we okay. So we're going to say print line step. Okay. Okay. Technically it runs every frame, but we can go struct fn update step speed. Update speed. Okay. So we need our input, which is res button input key code. Can't tell, my brain's starting to go to sleep. I've spent too long on this. And then we also want steps, which is instead going to be immutable. Res mute if if input dot just pressed keycode space steps equals steps at 0 times equals 5. If input dot just pressed keycode escape steps dot 0 equals 1. Okay, so I need to update speed. We probably also need one for like reset speed fn. Speed, which is input res mute steps per second, and then just and then we say steps dot 0 equals 1. Alright, so reset speed. We're going to derive default. So on enter we have, I'm sure, on exit, no, on enter day. Yep, so setup and reset steps. reset speed. On enter, reset the speed. We need to initialize the speed as well. So init resource steps per second, and then we also need to update speed. All right, so we move. Okay, so next is to move the plat. So if you, when you enter the day, set the steps per second to 1. Every time you hit spacebar, increase it by 5 times. And then when you hit escape, reset it back to 1. Now we need to move the guard. So the steps moving the guard is exactly the same steps we use for following the puzzle, which is current and facing, which come from the guard, which means we just do a single iteration of the loop, which is a single iteration of the loop. Right, except we don't need a break, we just return. Okay, if it's solid, return. So facing is guard. So guard dot. Okay, so we need to say for guard in. Ooh. Okay. Okay, for some reason I'm making this more modular than it needs to be. Like it's for guards. Like for some reason I've decided I'm making it so that you can move. Okay, so we need your transform as well. Alright, so first off, I don't think I want to do, no. So we need to go to guard. We need to say position and target, which is also an IVEC2. So when I spawn the guard up here, I need to say that position target is also just guard as well. So your current position and your target position are the same. So for each guard, first thing we need to do is we need to grab the guard, and we need to grab you mutably, I believe. And we need both the guard and the position. Right. So guard facing step. To work out which way is forward. Next is guard dot position plus step. Next is, and so okay, you continue now. Continue. Okay. So it's map.solid.get next cell. Okay. If next is solid, guard.facing.turn. Okay. Else visited insert. Okay. So else. Ooh. Okay. So then we want to go. Come on. Steps next. It's not that. It's So if next is solid, turn the guard. Else, right. So guard dot target equals next cell, and we don't need to insert visited, but we kind of do because we need to go let some cell equals map dot entity dot get guard dot pos. Okay, and then we say let it let okay cell equals cell. No, wrong cells. Yep, that's why we do it like that. Cells dot get cell. Right, get the cell. If you get the cell, we need to get you mutably. So then we say cell dot color equals color sRGB 1. All right. So that's red. So we get this, we get the position, which needs to be a reference. So, okay, cells can't be grabbed mutably. Of course. I actually don't need your transform because, again, I'm moving you later. So it's not move guard, it's like update guard. Update guard, like so. Okay. So then we just need guard, like so. So updating guard happens like this. So we at some point set targeting next. Okay. So next is to go fn move guard. Okay. You need the same. Actually, no, you don't need the same thing. I think maybe you do. I'm not sure. How do I do this without storing extra data on the guard? So first off, we need immediate access to the guard and its position. Translation. I think probably need to grab. We kind of want time and last time. We also need steps per second. Paste those in. All right. So this is incorrect because we don't want this only running once per frame. But somehow we need to work out the lerp. How much, like what percentage of the way we're moving them are we? So it's more like we need like progress. To equal time dot elapsed. So that's the number of seconds. And then do we divide that by steps dot 0, right? So if 1 second's passed and we're doing 5 steps per second, you'll get 5. No, 1 divided by times 5 steps per second. So that would tell you what percentage of it. So if there's 5 steps in a second and you're 20% of the way through a second, you'll get 1. Okay. So then we say let progress equal time dot elapsed secs here dot here, and then go frac. Take the fractional part of that. So that's our progress. Then for so target, okay, so guard.target is next cell. So when you run, I think the first thing you do when you run is say guard.pos equals guard.next dot target. So what we're going to do is when we step in, so basically once per step cycle, we're going to set the current guard's position equal to the target position. We're then going to use all of that to work out what the next target should be. So basically when you reach the end step, move the guard. First thing you do is move the guard to its target and then work out what the next target is going to be. Then in here we have our progress, and then we're going to say for guard and pos in guards, like so. We need mutable position. Okay, and then we need access to the map because we need the length and the width as well. So something like that. Ah, that's probably why the guard's over where he is. Maybe I didn't have it wrong. Is the guard is here, but that's not actually correct. That's not where the guard's supposed to be. Anyway, the guard will blink back in the right spot at the end. We don't need to actually put him in the right spot. So moving guard. So we've taken time. I don't think we need the last since last because we're working this out as like a global level of like where things are. So progress. Okay, so guard. So we say pos equal guard dot position as vec2 dot lerp between and then guard dot target dot as vec2 with progress. Okay. Okay, and then we say position dot translation equals end dot extend 2. I think that's correct. I think we also don't need mutable guard. Now, right, so we need to make mute end mutable. So we need to say end dot x minus equals map dot width divided by 2. And then we need to do the same thing, but height and y, like so. And then end dot times equals 32. Okay, so we need to update guard and move guard. So we need to probably do something like this. So it's update guard move guard dot chain. I think it's like that because we want the update to happen before we move. Then we can hope this works because it may not. Oh. Okay, so when I go in here, so first off, for some reason you're just teleporting back over and over. No, you're not teleporting back. Well, you walked through that table, which is kind of funny. Okay, you're definitely offset by something. But do you hit this? No. So you're definitely not in the right position. Oh, look, there's my trail of fucking... So first off, is that trail actually correct? So that's correct. You're just way offset on the Y. Okay. Why are you blinking back like that? I don't know why it's blinking like that. It's got something to do with how I'm determining the... Why? First off, you can probably stop printing step. That's unnecessary. Okay. So one thing to work out is why are you in the wrong location? Well, first off, you're heading in the wrong direction. So as you head down, you're actually moving up, which is hilarious. So first thing with that is that actually implies that... Well, the next question is, do we still get the same answer? Because, yeah, we only flipped the animation, that's right. Why am I getting the wrong... So, as you move down, which means that we actually want to take... When are we updating your position here? Wait, it's not plus... It's not minus on both. It's, I think it's minus on you, but plus on you. Find out where we're putting the cells. Because we know we're getting the right answer, so it's cells. So it's height is positive, width, x is negative. Okay, and then we subtract y. So we need to set our y. Wait, what? So y starts positive and is subtracted each time? Is that what we're doing? Y starts positive and subtracted each time, and x starts negative. So you start negative, you start positive, but we need to invert you, right? So end dot y times equals -1. Is that correct? Y starts positive and is subtracted each time, whereas if that works, because that would explain why the x was lined up but the y was out. So then you should be on a red square when you start, which would indicate that we're actually in the right position. So yes, you're definitely doing the animation wrong, but we're at least in the right spot now. And let's follow you until you get to a square where you turn and make sure it's actually hitting something that should turn it. Yep. Now you're facing the right direction, which is even more fucking bizarre. So our x and our y were actually correct. We just need to flip them. Back again. So back up to our animations. We go, where is direction? Somewhere, object direction. So 6, 0. Length is south and north. Alright, cool. So if I run that, that should at least make you move in that direction. So I feel like it's a either a rounding error or just the way I'm lerping is wrong. So what's happening is you're like teleporting back a square for like 1 frame. But why? It could be the desync between this and this. So can't just do that. Right, it's almost certainly that. So we need to instead just say does the guard changes? So when the guard I need to work out how to track your progress. So I guess we're gonna have to track it inside the guard. Which is an F32. We have to track it inside the guard because there's no way to keep it synced, which means that jittering is it being out of sync. So progress is 0. basically the exact timing of when we update what's the target and what's the ground is not in sync with exactly when elapsed seconds is. So our progress, it sadly needs to actually be, we'll work out the progress, but it's, so we need to make you mutable again. And then mute, and then we say, how are we doing it? It's time elapsed seconds, so it would actually be delta seconds. And then guard dot pro guard dot plus equals that. And then your guard dot progress dot frac. But I'm also going to say, like, if guard dot progress is greater than 1, guard dot progress 1, I think it was 1. Okay. And then somewhere down here we need to like reset the guards facing. So like if next is solid, guard dot progress equals 0. I think maybe. I don't know. Guard dot progress equals 0. Maybe I don't need to reset up there if it gets too high. Like I'm resetting it here, but like theoretically it should never actually be able to get above 1. Yes, so probably best not to have 2 places resetting it then, because I suspect that's probably what's going on there. Is that progress is being reset by something. That or it's able to move somewhere, then it resets and it moves somewhere else. We still have to solve the day 2 on it. That's good. But it's definitely possible that I think it's somehow getting somewhere with 100% progress or something. It's not hitting anything solid, so I don't know why it's jittering. Like it's somehow getting set back to there. Oh, no. Because we always set the next target. Maybe I've got them in the wrong order. Maybe we move and then set your target. Maybe like it's this. So maybe we've got to... Maybe we move and then update your target, because somehow you're ending up with your target being the cell you're currently on. It's lerping back. Maybe we should not frack the progress. Yeah, let's not fraction the progress. It could be that there's just a small error where it's ending up, because of the frame timing, 1 frame ahead. And so I'd rather it be 100 and a little bit rather than back to the cell you were just in. That could be why it's jittering like this. It's overstepping before the next target's set and resetting itself back to the old target, like back to 0 position. Look at him go. He's so fast. Did you just turn... Are you like moonwalking? What the hell is... Okay. So you move faster than the animation updates, which is hilarious because it means that you can like sort of sidestep for a little while. So what we really kind of need to do is like... He's also always running like ahead of the thing, but that's just because of how okay, actually, I have no idea why he's so far ahead of the Oh, I bet it's because it's lerping like a percentage in front, which means he can walk through objects and shit because it's actually here's where he's supposed to be. So obviously lerping, somehow we're getting like a lerp of 300 to 600%, which is not what it's actually supposed to be doing. So your progress is time dot delta seconds. Time dot delta seconds, so the number of seconds past this frame. Your progress plus equals this. I think it's because we're resetting your progress only when a new cell is selected, but it's still not like it's not jittering back, so like the progress is never resetting. Maybe it is jittering back. It could very well be jittering back. It's definitely traveling too far, so we should probably clamp it to 1. Progress dot equals guard dot progress dot clamp between 0 and 1. So clamping rather than taking a fractional should fix it, because it just means that you can't ever get set to greater than 1. And we don't use this for anything more than rendering, so it's not like it's going to mess with the map updating. But that does mean that the maximum move speed you can ever get is 60 FPS. See, it doesn't matter if I make you faster, because physically it cannot iterate through more steps than that. Which, ironically, we can fix as well. Because we're lerping. Right, so what that means is when we update the guard, if steps greater, okay, like let loops equal steps dot 0 divide by 60 plus dot seal, I think. Dot seal as usize. All right, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to say yep, great. That's here we go. 4 in 0 dot dot loops. Okay, there you go. So now if it's greater than 60 FPS, it'll do more than 1 step at a frame. And it won't render exactly right, because theoretically because the target and the position are both going to get updated, it can actually move 2 or 3 steps, and then you'll just jump to where, like, you'll jump forward and then walk the rest of the way. See, so he's doing the same thing where he's a little bit behind, but I think that's also because we're rendering you after. Like, I'm pretty sure I was correct in the ordering of a rendering. Is we want to update your position and then move, whereas before, when we were moving and then updating the position, it meant that you could highlight cells that are in front of where you've actually gone so far. So let's see, this should in theory work. And then this will let us move more than 1 cell at a time, which means that we can actually get faster than 60 FPS. Okay, well, he's disappeared. Like, he's literally not rendering, but Wait a second. Why are you still moving so fast? Oh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. If since last is greater than 1, calculate loops. And then minus equal loops as F32. What's happening here is that... Oh, there he is. He stopped. What's happening is we can do... Like, it's stacking steps because we're only, like, subtracting 1. But we're doing 2 or 3 steps, but only subtracting 1 still. Which means that it actually ends up being able to travel, and then when I slow back down, it's still consuming these steps. It's... Yeah. So... It's still not working quite right. That's weird. Why does it take a few frames to consume it back down? Oh, because it... Okay. No? Possibly. It's still running once frame. Yeah, I don't know how it's ending up like that. It's somehow ending up greater than the value. Like, it's just not ticking fast enough. Oh, because loops is derived from steps. Okay, yeah, sure. It's not really worth fixing. It could. All we could do is say, just instead of subtracting loops, just make it equal 0. It will mean that technically the rendering won't be perfectly synced. Though it makes the name make sense, because since last is actually 0 instead of being subtracted. But it'll mean with an inconsistent frame rate kind of thing of like at certain speeds, the stepping will be wrong. Interesting. So he stops when you hit escape for a second and then starts walking again. Must be something building up. Go a little bit faster. Come on. I just want to see what the map looks like. Yeah. So annoyingly, because the editor uses the camera, it's the reason. I just realized I'm setting all cameras. So I should only set with is default UI camera. Okay, that should mean that the editor is not locked in as well. That's kind of hilarious. Anyway, let's call that done and work on our next step. Whoop, Facebook just dinged me. I've got stuff to do apparently. Anyway, hopefully we can finish 2. Okay. Anyway, so part two. While the historians begin looking around the gods' patrol, you borrow this fancy device and then step outside the lab for the safety of supply closet. Okay. Your time travel through the last few months and record the nightly status of the lab guard posts on... okay, wait. The nightly status of the lab's guard post on the wall of the closet, returning after what seems like only a few seconds to these drones. They explain that the guard's patrol area is simply too large for them to safely search lab without getting caught. Fortunately, they're pretty sure that adding won't cause a time paradox. They'd like to place Gobu in such a way that the guard will get stuck in a loop. making the rest of the lab safe to search. Okay. And to have the lowest chance of causing a time paradox, the historians would like to know all the possible positions of such obstacle obstruction, and the new okay. Would like to know all possible positions of such an obstruction. The new obstruction cannot be placed at the guard's starting position. Okay, obviously. But where the guard started, he would just fucking get stuck. Like he wouldn't be able to move. The new obstruction cannot place the guard starting position. The guard is there right now and would notice. Right? Okay. In the example above, there are 6 different positions where a new obstruction could be placed, causing the guard to get stuck in a loop. The diagram of the 6 positions use O to mark the new obstacle to show position where the guard moves up and down, to position where the guard moving left to right, and plus to show the positions where the guard moves both up and left and right. Okay. Option 1, put a printing press next to the guard starting position. Option 2, put a stack of failed suit in the bottom right quadrant. Okay, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. This is so I don't know what it's doing. So where's the loop here? So it's obviously moving this way, turning right, turning right, turning right. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter what flavor text they've got there. So how are you doing it? Oh, wow, that's a big loop, because that's actually like looping the whole thing. Okay, it doesn't matter what you choose to use as obstacle, so long as you and the historians can put it into position without the guard noticing. The important thing is to have enough options that you can find one that minimizes time paradoxes. In this example, there are 6 different possible positions you can choose. You need to get the guard stuck in a loop by adding a single new obstacle. How many different possibilities could you choose for this obstacle? Okay, so I feel like there's a really obvious thing about like each of these obstacles is obviously placed somewhere where the path crosses itself. Like you can't put an obstacle here, he's not moving towards it. You put an obstacle here. So the question is, they reckon that next to the starting position. Where the fuck is this position? It's 2 to the right of that hash. Is that somewhere where he crosses himself? So here, it crosses itself here because it's going this way. Now, is it every time it crosses itself? Technically, you could put an obstacle. Not necessarily, because if you put... It crosses itself here. Putting an obstacle in the direction of motion here. Is that a valid place to put an obstacle? I don't think so. Yeah, where it crosses itself here. So is this a valid spot? Does any of these examples state that this is a valid location? No. So why not? Because you would put it here, you would turn here, you would go down to here, you would turn to here, you'd turn to here, you'd turn to here, you'd turn to here, and you'd go off the map. Okay, so not every location that it... But I suspect we have to check like every time... Every time it crosses itself, I reckon is where you could put one. But like not guaranteed, but it's the only place that matters. So you could then check to see if it makes a loop. What we would do is work out if you're crossing your own path. Then we'll put a barrel in front and have to check again to see if you ever hit the barrel. Now, what's confusing is there's technically a potential chance that putting a barrel here may result in it like doing some kind of really convoluted loop and then hitting the barrel from this direction. Because what I was thinking is I can check every time it crosses its own path. I'm just trying to think. Does that one actually even cross there? Oh god, that's concerning. Because I don't think that's a crossing of its own path, is it? Because I'm pretty sure that's where it exits. Oh no. That's definitely not a crossing of your own path. Oh god, this seems complicated. Now, we could brute force it. The brute force approach is to literally put a barrel in every location that it ever crosses. Because we're only putting a single obstacle down. Which means that if we put an obstacle down, run through the loop, see if we ever reach the obstacle again, but we have to reach it from the same direction because theoretically there are chances that we could reach the same obstacle twice. So ooh, and that is why we make it so that this thing can render multiple things. What we can do is when we run day 2, we can spawn infinite, like, well, not infinite, lots of them, like one for every obstacle we added, and then have it step through like each one, coloring its own path, its own color, until it hits an obstacle. Oh, that's such a good way of rendering. I love it. Okay, so first off, we have to actually solve the fucking day. So first thing to do is just find wherever we're doing parsing day 1. Parse data 1. So parsing data 1. So next we need to go parse data 2. And so we need this to be map, I think. Right. And then that should just generate the correct thing. Okay. So next is we need to, instead of saying visited, we need path. Which is path needs to be a vector. Right. And so instead of inserting, we need to push current cell and facing. Okay. So then, and then we don't want to print anything. So the scary thing is this is going to generate basically the entire map that we can first. Facing step, facing. Okay, so first off, direction needs to be clone and copy and all that good stuff. Drive. Clone, copy, equal, par equal. Just do that. Okay, so the one thing to go through is to double check. So the path is generated by basically looking forward. If you can't move forward, you turn, which means that when you insert it in, you'll be inserting it facing the direction that you moved. So you paste in current and the direction that you're going to move and then move. Okay, that should work because it's okay. Right, then we need to go through the entire path. So first up, we need to add the obstacle somehow, but the obstacle needs to be added. So, next. So the obstacle needs to be added, but added in such a way. Okay, so for step in path. Right, so we need to iterate through the whole path, and we need to say let mute loop makes loop. Okay. This is going to equal a vector. Right. So then we need to say let the obs obstacle equals. Okay. So hit false. Okay. The obstacle, an obstacle is just going to be, can't be none. This could be a good way of getting around it, is just to say map dot start data dot start. Actually, we need to fucking change you and map now, because I don't want to fucking remember to type data all the time. Map. Okay, so map dot start. Okay, and then direction is north. Okay, so you check start. Well, now we immediately override obstacle, but that's fine. Or maybe we should just go let. Well, I guess the obstacle is the step, isn't it? Okay, so maybe we don't need to do that. So we need to say hit obstacle, which is false. Right, then we just run the loop. Right, we just loop through again. It's also apparently spelled incorrectly. The obstacle here. So we need to bounce off the obstacle. Okay, so hit obstacle is false. So we step forward, we say next cell, and then map dot get solid. Else, okay, so then we need to say let next equal, so if it is solid, if next cell, so it's if next or next cell equals obstacle. Right, so what are we doing here? So what's happening here is we're basically going check the map. If it's solid, the next is solid. Or if the next cell happens to be our inserted obstacle, it's also solid. So next is now solid if it's our obstacle, right? And then we say if next. Okay. So we need to say hit obstacle. So if next cell equals obstacle, and this time facing equals. So we need first off something that facing equals direction. We can just say facing is direction. Facing equals direction. Wait, no, we don't want to put it out here. We want to reinitialize the loop. So current equals start and all that. So we need to reinitialize the loop here. Okay, so using Bevy as the engine, hence the advent of Bevy. I'll show you the game in a second. Just got to make sure this actually will compile in the first place. So if next equals and facing equals loop facing, then hit obstacle equals true. Okay, wait. So this means we've hit the loop, and so we say if hit obstacle, then makes loop equals true. Push. And then we need to say obstacle. Right. And then we need to say continue. We want to continue the loop. We want to break. No, continue. Continue outer. And then we go. Like so. Okay, so we can continue outer like this, and then else hit obstacle equals true. This is going to be terribly slow. So you equal next. All right. So then we say facing turn. Otherwise, we don't need to track the current path. We can just say that current equals next cell. All right. So makes loop, and then we can push here, and we say I think it's makes loop dot push the dot length. I think it's this. I don't know how long this is going to take to execute, but the idea is that basically we run through the path once, generating the path that we will follow. We then go through every step in the path, sticking an obstacle there, and running the check again. And it's Advent of Code, which is it's like a Christmas calendar for games, or not games, for code. Like, so they each day there's a little story thing, and then like a challenge where they give you like a puzzle input, and then you've got to parse it and return the result, and then you get stars for doing it. And then there's like a harder version of each day, which I've done the part 1. And then I'm working on part 2 for the day 6, I think. Yeah, day 6. So basically it's gone like, hey, here's this piece of data, and you've got to work out how many cells it visits, where when it hits a hash, it turns right and keeps going. If we go here and go day 6 as input. So it gives you a really big map. So basically too big to do by hand, and then you've got to write code that passes it. And I'm working on making like a visualizer that shows you. So this is the path that my particular data plots out, and it's like a little character walks around and does the map. We'll just zoom it up real quick, and then go, this is the end, and then it prints out in the console. When I click day 1, it tells me that's the answer to day 1, and then when I click day 2, it does nothing apparently. I don't know why. It should have, because I don't know. It's probably busted then. Yeah, it's stuck in an infinite loop. Well, that's interesting. Because that implies that I'm not finding the I'm never hitting the obstacle from the same Okay, so what that tells me is that there's a way to end up in an infinite loop by hitting the obstacle that doesn't rely on you hitting the obstacle in the same way again. As in, I guess one of their examples must have contained it. Might have contained it. One of these loops, you end up looping here, but you're still hitting the obstacle from the same direction. So this one hits the obstacle from the same direction. There's got to be one where it doesn't. So the original, wait, does the path never cross that? Okay. No, the path has to have crossed that at some point. There's no way that never, yeah. So there. So, but what it's doing is it's coming, this loop is caused by you coming in this way. You turn right, you turn right, you turn right. But you're still looping in that same spot. I'm trying to work out if there's a way for it to end up stuck in a loop that doesn't hit the obstacle from the same direction twice, which is what I'm thinking is happening here. You would have to be the same, because it's like it can careen the obstacle into a loop. So you're definitely just looping around like that. No, you're still doing the same. I don't know. Like that's the only thing I can think that it's doing, is that it's hitting a loop of some description where it never hits the obstacle from the same direction. Like the direction that the loop forms, because that's what I'm checking for. Maybe we can say hit obstacle. The idea is if you can hit the obstacle from the same direction twice, then it's a loop. Well, the other issue is I don't think I'm putting the obstacle in the right spot, am I? Yeah. So yeah, 0 and facing. So actually it should be next and facing, I think, is actually the correct way of doing that. All right. Maybe that's what I did wrong, is that I was saying current and facing, but it's like that would imply you go back to the same spot when you're facing the same direction, when it's actually we're putting an obstacle in the next cell when you're facing that direction. Maybe that'll do it. Who knows? Okay. No, I think that's frozen. So is it just taking a long time? Probably not. I think it would be done by now. So my one thought is that it is possible yeah, it's all good if you're a little bit behind. I don't know what setting I've got. Ultra low latency seed. I'll speed it up. Yeah, all good. Just means that you're going to be a little bit confused because I'm going to be talking over something that's different to what your question was about. Anyway, so facing forward, that's what I'm thinking. Can we say facing as direction? So if okay, hit obstacle. If next cell equals obstacle. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, so hit obstacle facing as so. Not facing, false. Otherwise, facing as you says. That might work. It's still, I can't think of how you would end up in a loop. Like in my head, it's theoretically possible that it careens you off course in such a way that you end up looping back onto the same obstacle, or like maybe it careens you. Ooh, that could also be another thing. Is it could send you into a loop. Yeah. Okay. So we might have to track everything that's visited because again, because of how it's possible that the obstacle isn't ever hit again. It can careen you. Because I just thought of a situation. Do they have one here? So there's a closed loop somewhere. So this loop again, it hits off the thing. But it's possible, like if there was an obstacle, say here, and you came in from here, you could hit this, go up here, go around, hit here, go here, go. So you loop without ever getting back to the obstacle. The obstacle like kicks you into a loop. So somehow I need to check all obstacles. So what we can do is maybe every time we turn, because the idea is, again, if you find a single point where you've hit there before facing the same direction, not necessarily just hit that obstacle before, but if you hit the same obstacle facing the same direction, you have to be in a loop. Because you're going to follow the same set of rules, so you'll end up going back in a loop again. So what we should maybe say is instead of, so we can call obstacle. And then I think we can just get rid of the facing. So the obstacle is just we just push the path. And what we're going to do is, I guess we'll go like hit, and hit's going to equal a hash set. No, right. So then we're going to say current map start. Okay, so facing north. Okay, so next is, okay, so next cell. So we check to see if next is solid, and then we also check to see if next is the obstacle, because it's just a way of getting around the map having it set as not solid. Then if, okay, so if next is solid, we need to say that hit dot insert next cell and facing, right? We hit something, so next cell and facing need to be set. Except we need it to be a tuple. So we hit something. Okay, so direction doesn't have hash. We can fix that in a second. Else we move to the next cell. And then we say if, so insert, does insert return a type or a boolean? Can't tell until it, okay. We're going to go to direction. Direction needs to also implement hash. Thank you. So it's insert returns a boolean. Okay, so if, okay, then we need to say makes loop dot push object. Now the issue with this is we could also end up double counting things, because technically they might be the same place, but no, because we're checking. Yeah, because we'll end up double checking places. So we should probably make this a hash set, because we want to know the number of unique places, but in theory, anytime we cross our path, if crossing our path would happen to make a loop, we'll check that twice. So if insert, if it returns true, which means it was already in the set, push insert obstacle, right, and then continue outer. We could just break. I think break just works, right? Because break will kick us out of here, and then we just iterate back up and check the next obstacle. So try that. So now, if it does end up kicking us into a loop somewhere else, we're literally just checking to see if we've hit the obstacle from the same direction more than once. And that should result in us solving the puzzle. I don't know. It gave us 400, and that's concerning because that feels like it's the same number as, yeah. That implies no matter where you put an object, it will make a loop, but I highly doubt that. So, obstacle. Which is next cell. So this loop iterates through, it works at the next cell. Because if it's solid, we're not going there, so don't put it in. You can't put an obstacle there because it's already solid anyway. Otherwise, push it onto the path and move there. Then we say makes loop. So it's got hit. Wait, is this the wrong way? Did not have the value present returns true. Okay, so not, hence it did it exactly once always. It checked everywhere and said, yeah, all loops. But it should definitely be a smaller number then. Okay. Hey, it's very slow, but that number feels more true. That number feels more correct. Come on. Yeah, nailed it. Now we're gonna have the fun part of trying to render 1,000 entities as they run around covering this entire map. Now, how do I give them random colors? So we should probably give each guard a color. Each guard gets a color. So go back up to our guard and say, okay, guard, you get a color now. Which is color sRGB. Ooh, red. You get the color red because you are the OG guard. Every other guard's going to get a random color because it's going to be 1,670 of them, and there's no way in a world I'm going to come up with a formula that's going to generate unique colors for all of them, or distinct unique colors. I'm going to go to guard. Yes, you get a color, which is a color. Now, the fun thing is, we're going to iterate through this and say, hey, makes loop. So if we grab access to commands, right? So, each guard's going to need a... Hey, we can just make an obstacle struct. That'll work. Obstruct. Obstacle. Okay, and it's going to be IVEC2. So basically, it's just going to check on itself. And this is a component derive. Okay, so loop. Okay, so when we get to makes loop. Okay, so commands dot spawn guard fucking time loop paradox. Shit. I need to find when do we spawn our guard? Up here. What does it need? All of this, except you're also going to be doubly state scoped because I want to be able to get rid of you fuckers. Okay, so you're not only state, so you're going to be state scoped to puzzle 2. Okay. So your position is going to be obstacle. We need access to the asset server. Asset. Nope, not asset. Asset server. Thank you. So we do that, and then guard X and Y. No, I just suck at spelling, and the spell checker has decided that that's the correct spelling, which is not that it is the correct spelling, it's that it doesn't realize that that's not the word I mean. But yeah, no, it's just purely that I suck at spelling. I just broke my stream because I clicked on your text and the fucking chat went away. Oh no. What have I done? Oh god, broken the whole thing. Yeah, no, I easily fix it. I don't think it's a reserved word, at least. The stuff. I don't think I need to set your translation because I think I set your translation as soon as you start moving, so that should be fine. It's something guard here. If I just do that, and then yeah, it's just purely me can't spell. Okay. And now that it's in the ID, it should just always be the case. Anyway. So guard. Yeah, it wasn't even the OBS that I had a problem with. It's that I have it like I have my my stream analytics open like this, and I literally like clicked on your name, and here now I can like click and it's fine, but when I clicked the text, the whole chat disappeared, and it's like, oh fuck, where'd the chat go? So that was fun. And then when I tried to get the chat to come back, I opened the stream thing, and the way YouTube does its streams is weird. It's like there's your main stream and then there's scheduled streams, and it's to let I think channels can have more than one stream at a time on the same channel, and I ended up on the main stream of my channel, which isn't actually the stream I'm streaming because I scheduled this stream, which means it's actually considered a separate stream than the main stream. And it's really dumb. Like if I just open OBS and say start streaming to my channel and go to the main stream, whereas if I schedule something and then I say, hey, start streaming on this scheduled stream, it's a separate stream as far as YouTube's concerned, and it does weird stuff. Anyway, so you need obstacle. You also need a different color, but yeah, obstacle, and that's going to be obstacle. Okay. So the other thing is I need to pick a color for you. So equals color sRGB. We need like a thread random. I kind of want to seed it so it's always the same, but then again, I don't really care. RNG.gen. I believe you will generate a value between 0 and 1. We'll find out. It might be between -1 and 1, which will be annoying, but okay, gen, and then we need to go down here. We need to hey, somewhere you have a color, right? So we need to give you your color, because when we step you, we're going to make you color it. Then we're going to go here and say you have a color, which is also color, and also the object will need a color. Kind of does, kind of doesn't. Oh, come on. I want to spawn the obstacle in and apply the color to it, but I might have to do that in its own function because it's getting a bit clustered in here. So, okay, so with our color, so next is to go somewhere. Okay, when you set its color, you set its color to guard.color. And then we're going to say guard. When we update our guard, we need a guard, and with an option obstacle. Okay, so our guard now obstacle. Excuse me. Reference. Right. And then we say if next. Okay, so that next equal next or if let some my brain's gone to sleep. If let's some obstacle if let some obstacle equals obstacle else false. Next cell equals obstacle. Okay. Do that should be the same logic. So we have to dereference you. Okay, so then we don't have to dereference you. And then .0. Okay, so first thing to check is, do you still work? It should, because it's just getting any, which means that it shouldn't have a problem with the fact that not the main character doesn't have the obstacle. Okay, run faster. Cool. So next is we're gonna like spawn obstacles, I guess. Fn spawn. Okay. Obstacles, and then we need a query. query for the guards, except we don't want to mutate anything. We just want the guard, so we can grab the color and the how did we spawn map cells? Ooh, interesting. So we're going to need access to the obstacle. We need the map, which is res map, because we need its width and its height, and we need this to be added. Obstacle. Obstacle. Okay, then we say for guard obstacle in guards then we need to go up to where we're spawning the obstacles. How do we do that? Somewhere. We need our RNG again. Right. It's spawning the garden. It's spawning the obstacle we want, which is somewhere in here. With child obstacle. Okay. Okay. So with guard obstacle, except you, depressingly. So we need to get our RNG. So get RNG equal thread RNG. So that should do that. Then commands. We actually need to bring the commands in. That's right. Okay. Commands dot with child obj. No, it's just spawn obj. But we also need to set other parameters such as your translation. From translation, let x equal map dot width by 2. God, it's again let y equal map dot width 2. Now I'm pretty sure x is supposed to be negative and adds, and y is positive and subtracts. So then we say vec3 new. So then we would need pos dot x. So we need x plus f32 1. It's interesting. I mean y plus, I don't subtract pos dot y as f32. Then we need to times the whole thing by 16, which technically does mean that things will move underneath the obstacles, which is somewhat hilarious. Then we want to go sprite. We want to go color is guard.color. And then everything else can be default, I think. Because when we say update guard, no, it's when we say parse. Ooh, no, I think I just print. There's an error when I animate things. Yeah, sprite has no texture atlas. No, but we set up object. And setting up object should add the texture atlas, right? Yep, and you don't touch anything else, but you do set the image, which means that it should. Oh, right, we need to state scope it all as well, which is state scope puzzle state puzzle 2, and we also need to state scope it to the day. So state scope to advent, just day. There you go. So state scope, spawn obstacles. Now, we need to, on entering puzzle state 2, spawn obstacles. Okay. Wait, what? No, not on entering. This is just something that happens here. Right? So we spawn obstacles whenever obstacles are added to guards, and we despawn. So when we parse the data too, we'll end up spawning a lot of obstacles. And then each one will check to see if its obstacle is present. Each given a random color. I don't know if this is going to work. Off you go. So this takes a long ass time. Okay, so something's definitely wrong. Because they should all be exactly on top of each other, because they should all start at exactly the same spot. Which is really interesting that doing that, but it's not actually going to represent what we want to represent. Each one needs to parse two objects. I think it's because when I spawned them, I think I gave them their starting position as being like, yeah, obstacle. No. So your starting position needs to be map.start. And your end position is also map.start. Thank you. That should work to fix that. So now they won't spawn all over the map. Technically, they were spawning on top of their obstacle, which is kind of funny. Okay. And then we say, hey, 2. And it takes a good long time to parse that. Now there's a lot of obstacles, which are all not correct, because first off, it's not 16, it's 32. Which isn't you is the problem. What? Why are you on the wrong spot? Now, somehow... Oh, they're just a half robot. But I'm definitely doing 16 instead of 32, which is incorrect. Maybe a little bit faster. Where's the first obstacle that causes a loop? Really far away, apparently. Okay, well, while we wait for that to split, let's work out what exactly is your problem? Why are our spawn obstacles times by 16? No, it's times by 32. Thank you. Which is going to make our player even more behind, but that's fine. Basically, though, as we check the level differently, it's going to change the layer that things are drawn on, which means that obstacles are going to be drawn above the player. We want to do 2. So we're going to follow like 5 places behind, but that's fine. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're also setting the fucking player camera to one of these objects. Okay, so now they're all in the right spot. So this should be the first time we have someone leave. They go do their own thing. And then we get to here and we go, okay, so these are all going to turn with this one. And we can fill it up like 5 times. So we losing some more. Every time we pass through one of these objects, so the guards are going to end up getting loopier and loopier. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is getting more and more of them. We've still got a lot to go. I don't know how many are still following. I also noticed that there was 2 obstacles on the same location there. I assume. I don't actually know. Maybe it won't. Because theoretically, they shouldn't be able to be, because if it finds the obstacle, it doesn't check there again, but... Okay. Let's hit escape. I swear these... Maybe it's just that the waist is different color, but it's looking suspiciously like that there's a TV on top of a table there, which should result in double counting. How is it not resulting in double counting? Like, because I got the right answer. I got the star, didn't I? It's not like it said that. Yeah, you got the star. I got the star. So, oh, what's going on? Because surely that should result in double counting, because that implies that putting a obstacle in the same place. So it's the same obstacle. You should hit this obstacle before you hit that obstacle. Right? I don't know. Unless I've got something wrong. They'll also stop moving, so if any touch the edge, we'll know really quickly that it's not actually forming correct loops, because apparently this is quite a loopy loop. Like, lots of them are getting stuck in there. So this is like why we needed to check every possible outcome, is because it's possible that some loops are like, it kicks you into it and then there's a loop. Okay, I'm gonna say that possibly if we look down here, I don't remember where we exit. I think it's on this side. Almost certain it's on this side. So what we're waiting for is, okay, so I just saw more lines appear, which means we are still not done the original loop. Theoretically, we're not done the original loop until until the lines cross through here, because there's a whole bunch of things. But that's what I'm wondering is, yeah. I'm 90% sure we exit on this side. There it is. So we're done. The loop is done. Now we look, is there any colored squares that we missed? Because that would imply that the obstacle is actually not on a path, and therefore the obstacles are not in place. I really don't understand. That, like, it's implying if we have, okay, no, they're actually hitting things. They're just not hitting their things. That's somewhere in there. If there's two obstacles in the same place, the only thing that can imply is that there's two ways of getting stuck. Like, this forms two loops, right? There's two loops are formed, but like you'd have to hit the loop at some point. They'd have to be following like exactly the same path, because this causes the same loop. It's just that there's two ways to get into that loop. Oh, and I'm using sets, which means that if there's two loops, we actually add both. So there's more than 1,000 of these. But I'm spawning one every time the loop. Okay, that's what's wrong. Right? No, it's only if you don't insert. Makes loop. Then if there we go. There's our why we're not double counting things, is because we're using a hash set to basically remove the double counting. So I was double spawning, but I wasn't double counting, which is why we could end up with those loops. So there was more than it needed. Go here, go day 2, and go boom. Boom chakalaka. Cool. The camera is following a random one. That's probably why the camera looks so jittery. Is that it's not actually teleporting to the same one each time. Anyway, we slow back down to original speed. Let me go over here. There we go. Hey, have you made it out yet? Yeah. Okay, you're done. So that means we get to do this. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, I'm gonna call that a stream. I was planning on doing day 7, but this took way longer and actually looks way cooler. I'm gonna post this on Blue Sky, like a screenshot of this, and be like, what does your advent of codes fucking loops look like? That's kind of cool. I actually really do like that. Like, what a great visualizer. And even the the fact that I was visualizing it and it like let me physically pick up, like visually pick up that I was duplicating, like double counting, because it was like there's two obstacles in the same place. Be interesting to like maybe try different like a different sprite sheet or something to make like more unique looking like museum. I also wonder if you could get away with something like that, built walls where there's no path cross, like parse it after, like, hey, these are all the spots that it didn't visit, and then like turn this into walls. Like if it's over a certain size, make it like a, I don't know, like a sequence of walls. Maybe like it feels like a really cool looking, like, because this feels like it could be a really cool way of generating procedural maps, is to like because what are we looking for? Like loops. I'm also doing it a really slow way as well, which is kind of hilarious. But like we could have done it with a hash set instead of a vector, which would mean that we would stop checking. We wouldn't check duplicate places because we have to check them multiple times as well. So like every time a path crosses somewhere, we checked it twice, and if it's really far into the loop, it would take a really long time. Whereas we could do a hash set to reduce the number of duplicate checks, especially because some places make it. No, I think at maximum it crosses the place twice, because if it crosses more than twice, it implies that it would hit an obstacle. Because like, if you hit something going up and hit something going down, like then it's actually like, oh, not necessarily. So I guess technically there's 3 ways, because if there's more than 4 ways would result in it, meaning that it must bounce around and loop through itself and make a figure 8. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I can turn this into like a procedural generation thing of like scanning through and finding anything bigger than this and building a wall, anything like this, and doing like a different structure other than this. And then like that's your map, is that like anywhere there's a loop formed, maybe you could even check the loops that they're forming and turn the loops into specific objects. I don't know, it seems odd. Like, how are they also, they must be going this way and turning around. Oh. All right, anyway, thanks for tuning in to the stream. It was interesting doing this. I really enjoyed, like, this is a really good fun thing to try and visualize, was that like a physical map. And I'll probably maybe stream again tomorrow, I'm not sure, or probably Sunday, and we'll move on to the rest of the days and see if we can cram out a bunch when I actually wake up early in the morning. Thanks for everyone who tuned in, and ciao for now.